I got a job at Nintendo before I got my driver's license. They were like 15 minutes from my hometown, and they had a job being a game counselor. This is during the NES days, where the job was literally play a bunch of games, and when people get stuck, they call you. I was like, are you kidding me? That's awesome. And it paid pretty well for a guy in high school with no bills, right?
What was the interview process like?
It was a bunch of game questions.
Yeah.
They're like, are you really a gamer? Like, it was like a bunch of Zelda questions, and like I think there was a Dragon Warrior one, and just a bunch of stuff like that. And I had played all the games, I totally nailed it. So I worked there for years. I was there for 2.5 years or so, up until right about the SNES came out. And then I bought a Super Famicom and was super excited about that. And I played ActRaiser, a Japanese version of ActRaiser, which was awesome, but I got stuck and I didn't know what to do. It was before the internet. So I found out that NX was right down the street from Nintendo. So I went to NX's office and I was like, hey, I got your Japanese game. I can't beat it. Like, I'm lost at this thing. Japanese guy, I was like, talk to this guy. It's this white guy, and I talked to him, and we became friends. And I was like, wow, I want to work here now. So I was a game counselor for them during the SNES years. After that, I think I went to art school and got a job at Lobotomy, which quickly turned into Boss Game Studios, doing N64 stuff. I did Twisted Edge and the Rally game, Rally World Champion, whatever it was, World Championship, Spider on PlayStation. And at that time, I randomly got to meet Tetsuya Mizuguchi, who was putting together a new team at Sega Japan in Tokyo. And I quickly put together a demo reel, and I appealed to him pretty hard to take me on at this new team in Japan at Sega, which was like a lifelong dream of mine because I love Sega, especially old school stuff. So I got to move to Tokyo, and I got to join the Space Channel 5 team, and then I was on the Rez team for most of Rez, and then was on a couple other projects after that kind of got canceled, and then I left, and then I worked at EA in Los Angeles with Steven Spielberg on the LMNO project for a couple of years. I was a concept artist there, did some gameplay, design stuff. It was great, yeah. I mean, I'm bummed the game didn't ship. We all worked on it really hard. It just never really, it was a really big scope, big scale, and we were never able to quite wrangle it together, and it kind of fell apart, which was a bummer. It was really cool.
Wasn't the whole idea like it was a super short experience, but it was super replayable?
That was one of the possibilities. Yeah, we never actually got far enough for that actually to be a thing, but in concept, yeah. It was cool showing my art to Steven Spielberg, It was like in a meeting room with him talking about my concept paintings. I was like, oh my God.
I've been playing games for decades.
That guy has a photographic memory. Like his film knowledge, he's just like, oh, this reminds me of a scene in this 1945 classic, blah, blah, blah. Like this one shot, he's like, it's all upstairs. He knows it all. He's not just a smart guy, he's like, really smart. Like there's something going on there. He's just like this. He's throwing them out. He's, what if? I'm like, wow, dude, listen, this guy's intellect is just like, zzz. And then I left there, went to Zombie in Seattle, was art director on Blacklight Tango Down, and then I started 17-bit. I've been in games for most of my career, most of my adult life, and I thought I knew a lot about making games, and I did, working for a big studio, but running your own company is a totally different thing. Getting a publisher deal, how to pitch, how to deal with the press, how to maintain your engine, how much work do you want to put into creating your own tools versus using off-the-shelf stuff. I mean, there's so much we've all learned through the Skulls of Shogun process, and we're hoping to take that 4-year Skulls dev cycle and turn it into about half of that. Skulls was largely a 3-man gig. We just hired our 8th full-time guy. He'll start at the end of the month. I think we're gonna stay under 10, I think, full-time. We've got a couple contractors on the side we use for bits and pieces. It feels quite big after 3-man, after a 3-man operation, and this feels like a big operation. I mean, I've worked on teams as big as 60 people or something, but that's just a whole other. I mean, AAA stuff, those are real budgets. We're a tiny little scrappy thing. This is as big as I want to get for the kind of stuff we like to do. Buy Skulls of the Shogun. It's coming out this month on Steam. So there's 5 worlds in the original campaign. So we added a new world. So there's 4 more missions. They're pretty high level. So you beat the main game, and then there's these 4 kind of expert level campaigns. There's a new monk, the Tanuki monk is sort of a little raccoon guy. He's got all this weird trickster magic.
Okay.
So it's kind of high level in that stuff too. He's very powerful if you use him correctly. He's very interesting. We added a kind of a badge leveling up system. So when you finish levels, you get experience, and you earn these sort of badges, and you can kind of upgrade those and customize your title and stuff like that. So it's really good for the online. You can trade them and stuff like that. We've got Steam trading cards. One of the first games that has a Steam trading cards in it, which is, people are buying the cards for more than they're paying for the game right now. And we just did a bunch of tuning and balancing, and kind of got a bunch of feedback from people playing it over the last, since January it launched on Xbox and Windows 8. And so we've got a bunch of great feedback from that, and we've just been sort of tuning and polishing and really making this the ultimate edition of the game. Probably done with Skulls and Shogun for now, yeah. There may be some mobile stuff in the future. We're just kind of slammed with the Steam stuff right now, and then, most of the core team is moving on to either onto their own things or, onto galak-z. So But it's ready to take a break.
Yeah,
We've been on for over 4 years now, so definitely like got lots of other games I want to make. You see all this gray hair? This is all from since then. We dug ourselves in deep. We committed to doing 3 platforms for our first game. So the phone, the Windows 8 and the Xbox. We agreed to be the first guys that were like cross-platform, knowing that tech wasn't quite there yet on their side, assuming that they were gonna, get it out to us on time. They didn't get it on time. They're not blameless, we're not blameless. We had a tough time, but we've talked about it a bunch. We've all acknowledged, what could have been done better and, kind of how we overstretched a bit. But if we had done just an Xbox version, we would have been fine. I mean, an amazing experience, running my own studio and making the game that we wanted to make and being able to do all the art. And I mean, after all these years in game development, I've never been so fulfilled, even close. It's way more stress, it's way more work, it's way more panic, way more sleepless nights, but I wouldn't trade it. It's amazing.